Hey everybody, I'm Ty Leon Guerrero here, and I am with my good friend, Mr. Michael Zuber. How are you, Michael?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I always love, as many of you know, if you're watching this, you know we do a Friday financial news wrap up, and who better to be with than Mr. Michael Zuber? So before we get started, though, Michael, I know we've got a treat for the audience, and I just want to share this and get this out there to anybody, everybody. If you're a fan of Michael Zuber, One Rental at a Time, if you're following his news, all of his amazing real estate content, we are going to be doing a free virtual meetup. It's going to be a free virtual meetup. It'll be hosted over a Zillow platform or a webinar platform, depending on the size and the audience. We're going to do it the week of November 15th. We have not selected a day. It'll probably be afternoon, late afternoon, early evening. Still working on that. We want to make sure to accommodate everybody. If you have an interest, please text 2022, like the year 2022, to the telephone number 949-401-7598.
Oh, I like
Again,
that.
you're going to text the year 2022 to telephone number 949-401-7598, and you'll be sure to be added to the invite list. I know we've got a growing list. We're going to talk about predictions. What is the market going to do in 2022? We're also going to talk about biggest threats to the real estate market. What's going on in 2022? So, Michael, I'm excited for that. We're also going to talk about the new book as well. So there's going to be some content. We're going to have some of the other experts on there. We're also going to talk about the new book as well, Michael. I'm excited to have you. So anyway, there's the plug for that.
Yeah, I thank you for this. Again, I look forward to this weekly wrap up. It is so I do these daily shows, but this is how I could go back and look at the last 7 days. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you for 15 or 20 minutes. Thank you.
I wanted to get that, thank you. And I wanted to get that out early so everybody knows about it. We want to make sure if you want to be there, we want to make sure you get invited. So let's get into today's Friday financial wrap up. Job creation, job growth. What's going on there this week?
Yeah, I got to take a victory lap on this one, right? I talk about every Saturday or Sunday, usually Sunday, the week ahead. I talk about the most important number. The most important number this week was how was October. We came out with job creation. And if you don't know, the last couple of months, job creation has been less than rosy, right? It's been below expectations. So the expectations this week or this month that were reported this morning was 450 job creations, which is a decent number. However, I did an over under on my channel, got my channel engaged, and I said the number was 500. And then on Thursday, I actually gave a number. I called 537. I'm like, I don't know what it is. And again, it was a pure guess, but damn, I nailed it. It came in at 531. So above the expectation, which was 450, above my over under, and within 1% of my call of 537. So I am taking a victory lap. Everybody likes to nail me when I get one wrong, which is fine, but I'm going to take a victory lap. So nailed this one. Yeah.
I love it. Great job. It's great to, you spend so much time studying the markets, reading the news, really taking a look at what's going on. So we appreciate all the work you do and everything you share with us. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's talk about inflation. So inflation's been a hot topic for the last probably 6 weeks. Yeah. We've been talking about it for the last 6-9 months.
Exactly.
What's going on with inflation?
Well, inflation is real. The Fed and many more of the people that have been calling it transitory or stopped calling it that. Because again, when does transitory stop? Is it 9 months? Is it a year? Is it 2 years? It's just not there. Inflation is going to continue. And in fact, I think inflation gets worse, not better. We are going to see rent or rent equivalent start impacting CPI. It is right now below par with the way they collect data. Their data is old. Also, wage inflation. We are seeing that the employee has more power than ever before. Union has more power than ever before. We are just starting to see wage inflation, and wage inflation is going to carry us all of next year. Wage inflation, wages, the hourly employee, the hourly work is going to be the oil embargo of the 70s. And that is going to cause lots of consternation, more expensive, less tenure. It's going to get messy. It's going to get messy for a long time. But yeah, inflation is real. It's going to be with us all next year, in my opinion. And it's getting worse at the moment, not better.
It's getting worse, not better. I would agree with you. And it's interesting. We started the year And I feel like most of the year, we always made a comparison to the 1970s. And you did that whole study in the chart. So spot on. We're going to keep an eye on that. Talk about tapering. I don't explain what tapering is. It's a buzzword in a lot of the financial media outlets. What is it and what's going on with tapering?
Yeah. So one of the things that people need to realize is the federal government, specifically the Federal Reserve, Federal Reserve. When we shut down the economy last March, they basically lowered rates. And then because they were nervous about the market, they became buyers. They started buying. I think the numbers were they were buying $100 billion a month in treasuries and $50 billion in mortgage-backed securities. And again, they don't have to make a profit. So rates, right? They became the buyer and they just forced rates to go lower. That is the reason the stock market came roaring back. That is one of the reasons real estate is up 20% because the Fed artificially lowered rates. And again, I believe real estate is payment-based, not price-based. So they artificially lowered rates. Well, they came out officially this week. And again, we called this one as well. We said it would start in November, and it's starting in November. They have now started ratcheting back. They're going to buy 10 billion less a month in treasuries and 5 billion less a month in mortgage-backed securities, which means they should be out of the market by June of next year if they continue that monthly reduction. After that will become rate increases, which again, I've called for in July. Again, called that months and months ago, even when the Fed was saying, no, we won't raise rates till 2024. I'm like, no, they're lying, or they're either lying or wrong. It's happening in 2022. They're going to raise rates. And now, if you peel apart the Fed speak, they're actually calling for 2 or 3 rate increases next year. So I'm glad that the Fed is watching our channel and now agrees with us.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, you've been spot on. You've been calling all of this, everything that
months
you're seeing
before
in the main media, you've been talking about for the last 6-9 months. So.
Yeah, you can go back and watch the videos, folks. The beauty of YouTube is they're all recorded. So you can go back and tell me where I'm right and tell me where I'm wrong.
I love it. And unlike any other, there are some influencers out there I see that take down videos.
Yes, there are.
You don't take down videos.
No, why bother? I mean, hey, I do the best I can with the data I have at the moment. It's fine.
I love it. I love what you're doing. So let's talk about like specific to our audience too, with real estate professionals, interest rates for mortgages. What's going on there? What are you seeing?
Yeah, we've already started to see the tick up in rates. Rates seemingly 5 or 6 weeks ago were averaging 3.03. I remember they were there for 3 weeks in a row. Now we've seen a pretty good compression. They're up roughly 3.3. So, that's a 10% move, right? It's only 30 basis points, 3 to 3.3. But remember, it's a payment. You take a $500,000 house and the rate's 3.3 versus 3. I think it's about $80. I think it's $78 a month. Which when you average that out, that's over $1,000 a year. So, you got to remember, if people buy on payment, like I believe, you get less as rates rise, you get less yes answers. And as rate rises, generally speaking, houses are less affordable. And I believe affordability is the number one issue. It's what I track. It's affordability. It tells me when to sell. And yeah, as rates rise, real estate, generally speaking, becomes unaffordable. But got to go back to an earlier topic, wages. If wages go up faster than interest rates, you're going to be, okay. So it's just, you got to watch everything: price, wages, and interest rates.
So say that again about wages and interest rates. If wages, say that one more time.
Yeah. So again, right. So I watch affordability. A lot of YouTube influencers talk price. Price means nothing. As we've seen already, if interest rates go from 6% to 3%, you can afford a lot more. Interest rates aren't everything, because again, as my 50 years of research showed, if wage inflation goes up faster than the interest rate rise, you can actually have inflation in values, which is exactly what the 70s told us. So for example, I just told you earlier that we're going to have wage inflation like never before. So for example, if your wages go up 10%, if you're making $20 an hour, that's only $2 an hour. That's a layup in today's market, given how stressed it is. If your wages go up 10%, but the interest rate impact on payment is 6%, prices could still go up, right? Because you still have room to buy. That's why housing is price, interest rates, and wages. That third variable nobody talks about. And I would have never talked about it unless I went back to the 1970s and realized that real estate doubled, even though rent interest rates went up. It's because wages went up 83%.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So give an example too, and we did this pre-roll where on a five, let's say, and I'm throwing out an arbitrary number, right? You can just cut the number in half or you can double it. But on a $500,000 house, as an example, if you're in $1 million, you just double it. If it's 750, add on 50%.
Yeah.
On a $500,000 house, if somebody's buying a $500,000 house and the interest rate goes from 3%, which it was, to now 3.3, how much is that in actual dollars? Just ballpark.
I think it's about $80. It's $80 a month. And some of you are looking at that going, that wouldn't stop me, but for some people it will. Some people are right on the edge of getting that yes answer from a bank. And if their debt to income is really tight, that $80 could change. Housing is unaffordable, generally speaking. However, if that person buying that house just got a raise of 10, 15, they changed employment, got a 20%. People are quitting and going to other employers and getting 20% raises. The employee has more power than ever. And if we have this huge mountain of wage inflation, man, real estate and rent are going to go up.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario. $80 does not seem like a lot of money, but if you look at for an average working class family, if you were spending, let's say $100 in fuel a week, and now you're spending $200 a year, or excuse me, a week, $200 a week in fuel, that $80 is significant.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, okay, so let's keep going. Let's talk about Zillow, man. Zillow, it's so interesting that Zillow, it's a love-hate relationship is the way I would describe it.
Sure.
For realtors, for real estate community investors, because of their valuations, because of the amount of, we would even almost call it disruption.
Yeah.
Them as a disruptor. Why don't you tell us what happened this week with Zillow?
Well, Zillow realized that they are there. Let's be clear. Zillow will go down as the #1 worst housing flippers ever. Zillow has successfully lost an estimated $550 billion. No, I'm sorry. $1 million. Yeah, $500 million. $1 million flipping homes. Dude, Ty, it is hard to lose $550 million flipping homes. But they did because they broke rule #1. Rule #1 is you make your money when you buy. And if you are a moron and an idiot that buys with the expectation of appreciation, you are going to go bust. It is, I applaud Zillow for taking a shot. I don't think it's wrong to take a shot when you're in technology, but I think they're being idiots how they're exiting. They have 7,000 or 9,000 homes, depending on who you listen to, that they are now selling and selling quickly. I honestly think they would be better served if they owned them and just turned them into rentals. I have talked about time in the market is better than timing the market. By calling an exit and leaving quickly, they are recognizing the losses. I talked with one of my experts, Jonathan, on Thursday, who is very familiar with Japan and their lost decade. If you don't remember what the Japanese did in the 80s, they were buying trophy assets like Pebble Beach and Rockefeller Center and all of these things. And frankly, we're overpaying. And then their economy tanked. And what happened is they sold these trophy assets for huge losses. They recognized the loss. There was one Japanese company called Hitachi who did not sell their trophy assets. They held them for 30 years. And guess what? They're doing okay. So you know what? Zillow overpaid. Zillow acknowledges overpaying. But one way to fix that is just hold the assets and rent them out. They should become a landlord. They would instantly become one of the largest landlords in the country.
I could see somebody like Zillow. Why not partner with Blackstone and
become 50-50 or 49-51 partners and just let's rock and roll.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense. It's interesting to lose that much money in a market where all the flippers I know are crushing it.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Well, you make the money when you buy.
That principle #1.
Yeah, they make their money when they buy. I honestly think the CEO needs to be fired, not for getting in the business, but for the way he's exiting. He is recognizing a $500 million loss because he wants to be out.
Yeah.
That is a mistake. Again, think about Zillow. They're trying to be a disruptor, right? Think about them. They could turn lemons into lemonade. They could go, you know what? We don't do anything in rentals today. We don't have rent this and rent that. Why don't we take on Rentometer? And we're going to have 7,000 rentals start feeding data about what's going on. They could expand their service line.
Yep.
But they're not thinking.
Yeah. And even as you say that, I mean, they could go to JV or buy, absorb Rentometer. They could JV with Blackstone, Colony. They could literally go across the board with Wall Street, everybody who's a player who's buying portfolios and JV with them.
Yeah, they are burning, simply lighting on fire $500 million. And I think that's a fireable offense. I think the CEO needs to go.
Interesting times. Well, I got to say that, you know, and I'll finish on this, is that I think for a lot of the real estate professionals, a lot of people in the circles I know of, lenders, old-time investors, real estate agents, brokers and such, I think there was always this kind of underlying fear like Zillow's going to take over the world. Mm-hmm. And now this has happened, and I see a lot of people taking victory laps like, oh, they failed and, you know, and all this. I don't think the iBuyer doesn't go away. And these hedge funds in Wall Street, they're not going away to disrupt real estate. If you're a real estate professional and you're out there, you definitely more than ever need to be learning more, expanding your knowledge base, expanding your skill sets, expanding your reach in terms of markets and marketability. Mm-hmm. Just let's finish on that thought, Mike.
Yeah. So I do not think this is the death of iBuyer. I think this is the death of flippers who bet on appreciation. That's what Zillow did. They bet on appreciation. I mean, you read any book on flipping, that's rule number one. They broke it. They had too much money.
Yep.
They were far too arrogant, and they got their ass kicked. That doesn't mean iBuyers are bad. That doesn't even mean iBuyers aren't a market. I think iBuyers are a market. In fact, I think OfferPad and whatever the other one is, I'm drawing a blank. They probably get bigger from here because iBuyers serve a need of sellers. Some people want out quick. They don't respond to postcards and text and all of that. They want to go to a company and they just want out. I think iBuyers are a real business. And I just think Zillow was arrogant and stupid, both coming in and on the exit. Again, I don't mind entering the market, the whole use data to get prices. I mean, I understand people make mistakes, but the way they're exiting, oh man, it's just, I can't fathom recognizing $500 million loss and going to my board of directors and smiling. There's another way you could do this, buddy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They could have really spun and said, hey, we're going to expand and do these other JVs and hook up with these other Wall Street groups and then
they could be doing what I do, right? I buy an asset. I figure out what's the best thing. Sometimes when Zillow gets an asset, the right answer is flip. I got a 50% discount. It's a lipstick one. It's in the right area. Flip it. Sometimes you buy them. And it's like, I'm going to hold this for a decade. Right now, Zillow is exiting with their tail behind their legs. They're not thinking. They got beaten and they're running away versus counter punching. They're being foolish, short-sighted, terrible.
We'll finish on that. So a couple things. If you want to know the road ahead, right? Educate yourself. Okay. These books right here. Awesome book. This is the new book. This is the Real Estate Millionaires book, Conversations. Amazing, great book, great content. This is the original book.
The OG.
The OG. You need to buy them both. Go onto Amazon, buy them. If you have them, if you've bought them. Couple things. Send Michael a picture. Send him a picture. Also, too, go onto Amazon, write him a 5-star review. I just want to, again, go back to this image here. We're going to talk about this. So everything we talk about with Zillow and adapting and tools, we talked about the books, right? The experts, having the Real Estate Millionaires, the conversations. This is the time. Disruption is real, folks. Come, be with us. It's a free event. We're not going to pitch, promote. We are going to promote the book probably. We'll pitch and promote the book a little bit. I'm actually going to, I didn't tell you this, Michael, I'm going to buy a case of books.
Oh, wow.
One is for our friends and family and clients and such and people we consult. But the other thing we're going to do is we're going to give away some books as well. We're going to give away some book packages.
Wow.
So we're going to hook up with you on that. We're going to give away books at the virtual meetup. We're not selling anything. This is completely free. It's a community event. We just want to add value. So all you need to do is go on to literally just text the words 2022, like the year, right? The new year coming, 2022. Text it to 949-401-7598. Again, the telephone number 949-401-7598. And what we will do is we will get you an invite. We will go ahead, you'll get the confirmation. We're going to do it the week of November 15th. People have been asking. We're figuring out if it's going to be in the afternoon or early evening, because we want to make sure that we can serve the greatest amount of people. Again, this is kind of like our end of the year contribution, but we also want to equip you with the tools and get an idea. How do you look at your market? How do you look at your individual market? How do you know the road ahead? What's to come? What to expect? So, Michael, thank you so much for all that you do and all that you share with our group.
Yeah, one quick thing. When you get those books, let me know. We'll meet somewhere in the middle and I will autograph each and every one of them.
I love it. We're going to do a live meetup as well. We're going to do a live meetup as well. And, obviously that's to come. Be a part of our community. Text to the phone number. Thank you, Michael, for all that you do. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much.